let's talk about the two types of genre that I've broken a big compilation down into to make things a little simpler, easier for you to pick. It's also going to help you streamline some really cool and unique combinations. These two types of genres are divided based on what characteristics of your book they will influence the most. Let's talk about type 1 of our genres. The genres in this category are going to influence your themes and conflict of your story. And we'll get to theme and conflict later. For now, let's focus on the list of genres that you have to choose from. This group of genres is going to mainly influence the big ideas that your work is going to tackle, and what goes wrong for your characters along the way. It's important to note that when you choose one of these genres, it's not going to directly dictate your themes and conflicts, but it is going to narrow down which ones you should choose for your story. The genres in this category do not dramatically affect the setting of your story though. In other words, if you choose a genre from this list, it's going to give you an idea of what your themes and conflict are going to be, but it's not going to tell you where it should take place. Stories in these genres really could take place anywhere, or at least most places. So let's work our way down the list, and you'll find all of these genres and the little descriptions of them on your worksheet as well. First up, romance. We'll start out with a nice clean-cut example of a genre that directly affects your theme and your conflict. The romance genre limits your themes to personal connections. This is either going to be between two people or a small group of people if you're going for a love triangle, or even the more flexible harem kind of romance. But the point is that romantic themes focus around relationships between characters. Themes you might find in a romance novel include slow burn romance, love at first sight, forbidden love, friends who become lovers, rivals who become lovers, and the conflict that occurs in these romance stories will vary based on which one of those themes your story focuses on. For instance, if your romance novel is tackling the theme of forbidden love, your conflict might illustrate two characters that are forced by circumstance to be near each other all the time while they're falling for one another, even though they know that they're not supposed to. Maybe they're co-workers and office romance is forbidden. Maybe they're from two rivaling gang families that hate each other. If your romantic novel theme is friends to lovers, your conflict might revolve around two people that are really close at the beginning of the story, and they're nervous to take that next step into romance because they don't want to ruin what they have. Which, romantic side note, is BS. If what you have is good, then trying to take a next step is not going to ruin it. It's important to note that many stories across genres have romance in them, but this does not make them romance novels or romance stories. What defines something as a strict romance is that the conflict and the theme of the work revolve around the romance, around the personal relationship. If the story is really about something else, but there's a really cute couple in it, it's not a romance. If the story is about the relationship between two members of this cute couple, then you've got a romance story on your hands, where everything else that happens in the conflict basically becomes a vehicle to move their relationship in a certain direction. Now, there's actually a difference between the genre of adventure and action adventure, which we're going to talk about next on the list. In a pure adventure story,